And just looking at some of the reactions we got and a little brief panel conversation here, and it really got me kind of thinking really about the ease at which we really quickly call people names, like quite bad names, by the way. I'm not talking about just the last story, I'm talking about in general. You know, like in this day and age, the ease in which people call someone else a racist or a transphobe or a liar or whatever, that actually they're quite damning things to call somebody. But the ease in which we do so seems to be out of control, because really what we mean is, I don't agree with your opinion. We seem to have lost the ability, Alex, to simply say that, and instead we launch into these attacks.
I think that's right, and at least with the point about you're a liar is that hopefully you can demonstrate that you weren't lying. You were either telling the truth or you were mistaken, rather than deliberately putting forth a falsehood. But with the other kinds of terms that you're talking about, they're much harder to rebut. They're diffuse, right? They're very easy to throw, and once thrown, they stick, and they're very hard to remove from people. And that's one of the reasons that it's so bad. There's a reason, after all, we were reflecting in the break, there's a reason, after all, that in Parliament there are terms you can't use about other members of Parliament, one being, you know, that you're a liar. This just means that parliamentarians have all sorts of ways of getting round those rules to find a way of calling someone, you know, being economical with the actuality instead of lying. But, you know, the point is, in the end, is there are things about people you shouldn't say, and I mean, unless it's in real extremis, you shouldn't say, because actually it undercuts the whole point of honest debate and honest exchange. And I think, in good faith, both sides can do better than that.
Yeah, and I think, anyway, when you start calling, if everyone's this and everyone's that, then it just undermines the concept of anyone being this and that in the first place, because if that's what everyone is, it's like, oh, come on, you're just diluting the effect. William?
Do you know, I think free speech has been under threat for a long time in the UK, and part of that is because people want to cancel each other. They don't want to engage with other people's viewpoints. They want to say, you don't have the right to say that to me. We're seeing it in universities, creeping up. Speakers, I mean, you have speakers who've been gay rights activists for 30, 40 years being cancelled because, for some strange reason, they're not part of the latest thinking on a certain area. It's very clear that we have to continually fight to have the opportunity to live in a free society where you can say what you like to each other and have a genuine debate. Democracy is about two people disagreeing. It's not about one person calling another person a name and just fighting it out. And I think this is a long-term problem that is only going to get worse the more and more we allow it to happen.
Pamana?
I think sometimes when we use, especially the words like extremism, fascist and all the rest, it starts to lose meaning, and people start to not believe that is what can actually exist, or someone can actually be that. In the previous story, I said that Boris Johnson lied in Parliament, and I believe that is true, and there are disagreements on this table about that. However, I think that, you know, just before I came on here, I actually tweeted saying that I know that my views on Partygate will get me a barrage of hate online. And that is what happened.
Well, I certainly hope not.
But that is what has happened, especially when you come on GBNews. I mean, when I go on other channels, it happens too, but not to such an extent.
I feel the same when I'm on the BBC.
And it's really hard, and it shouldn't be like that. We shouldn't want to cancel each other.
I agree.
Just for our opinion.
But my point, I decry anyone calling you names, and they shouldn't call you names any more than when I'm on another channel. People might call me, or on this channel, people call me names. And I would disapprove strongly of that, because I think that we should be able to argue it out, and ultimately, a term that seems to have been forgotten in the United Kingdom, agree to disagree.
Yeah. Sure.
But I think it's not even just in the UK, you know, Alex. I think it's much broader. People almost seem to be incapable of tolerating a different view. You know, people will have their worldviews, their different perspectives and all the rest of it. And if someone disagrees, that unleashes a fury.
True. Think about how much worse this conversation would be if Pamana weren't here, right? We have to have... the debate is important. It's great. We've got to have the full... I deplore people, if anyone's calling you names. I'm really sorry that that's happening, and it shouldn't happen. But I think that we only have true debate if we seek to have it properly, robustly, but civilly.
Yeah,
Indeed.
And same here from the other side, you know, using words like Tory scum and all the rest of it, it's not okay. And it's
the deputy leader of the opposition.
Yeah.